Hi guys, and welcome to Beans Reads. I hope you're having a great day. I have a few drama-filled posts for you, and with that being said, let's get into it.
This post is from the Am I the A-hole subreddit by Educational Bat 4640. Am I the a-hole for being ungrateful about the flowers my girlfriend got me for my birthday? Backstory: my girlfriend got me flowers about a month or so ago. I am also a woman, we're lesbians. It was a beautiful bouquet of flowers with a lot of lilies in it, which are my favorite flowers, and I absolutely loved it. However, I do have two small kittens in my house that I adore. I thanked her so much for the gesture, and I quickly removed them and took them to my parents' house. We were on the phone and I was researching and telling her that lilies are poisonous to cats, and that even the pollen from them can cause illness and death. I was kind of freaking out about it. Fast forward to this week, she got me flowers for my birthday. These also had lilies in them. She had kept them in my room, and when I came home from work, she handed me them and then said, "They have lilies in them, so you might want to take them to your parents' house, but let's put them away in the closet for now." In the moment, I was kind of confused why she would have got me another bouquet that has lilies in them when she knows that I could not keep them in my house. But I thought the gesture was nice, so I didn't say anything about it, just kept them in the closet. I haven't had the time to take them to my parents' house, so they've been in the closet since the weekend. We got into a disagreement tonight, and she told me that it doesn't make her feel good or reassured that I left the flowers in the closet to die. She said she put a lot of thought into getting me the flowers and wrapped them herself and was excited to see me smile when she gave them to me. I told her that it doesn't make me feel good that she got me flowers that she knows could harm my cats and that I can't actually keep in my house, and that it wouldn't have taken much thought to get me something like roses that I also love and are cat safe, especially because of the last conversation we had when she got me flowers the last time. She called me ungrateful and said she was trying to do something special for me and felt that I threw it in her face like it meant nothing to me. I did appreciate the gesture. I love getting flowers from her, but I feel like it would have been more special and thoughtful to receive flowers that I could actually display and enjoy in my home. AITA? No, you're not the a-hole at all. Your girlfriend deliberately disregarded your worries about your kittens, which is absolutely disgusting. You told her that lilies are poisonous to cats, and she remembered, but still brought them into a house with small kittens roaming around. It doesn't matter if they were hidden in your room. You still have the pollen around the house and are going to have to deep clean to get rid of it. Not to mention, even if you didn't care about the cats, you told her, "Hey, I appreciate what you did, but it's harmful to something I care about." And she went, "Actually, you disliking something that harms something that you care about hurts me." Gosh, you're so ungrateful. I'm sure that she knows that you have other flowers you like, considering the first conversation with her. I'm sure it would have been brought up. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you'd be upset if someone you care about disregarded your feelings like that. Let's look at some top comments. By user Cat the Conqueror. She said she put a lot of thought into getting me flowers and wrapped them herself and was excited to see me smile when she gave me them. So bringing cat poison into a cat owner's home was premeditated? NTA. She knew these couldn't be around your cats. Is this some sort of mind game she's playing with you? No Introduction 3808 replied, "She put a lot of thought into it. Either she's stupid, selfish, or she's testing you to see if you prioritize your cats over her. She can be all three simultaneously." And Anya Hates Carrots also replied underneath that, which I didn't think about this perspective. I mean, assuming OP's girlfriend isn't evil, I think she maybe thought that the flowers were still an appropriate gift because they're OP's favorites? So maybe she thought OP still liked getting them even though she can't keep them in her own house? Assuming best intentions, maybe when OP originally got lilies, she used overly nice language that didn't make it clear to her girlfriend that she didn't want to receive lilies again. Something like, "Oh, the lilies were very pretty. They're actually my favorite flowers, but I can't keep them in my house because of my cat. So I'm taking them over to my parents' house. And instead of that signaling to the girlfriend, thank you, but please don't get me these lilies again because I can't keep them in my house, girlfriend thought, oh, OP really liked the lilies and would still like to receive them, even if they have to stay at her parents' house because they're her favorite. OP is obviously NTA, but she should make it really clear this time that even though she personally loves lilies, she does not want to receive them as a gift as a current cat owner. If girlfriend gets her lilies again after that clear communication, then girlfriend is definitely evil and should be broken up with. I think this is a very optimistic take on this, but it is a perspective I didn't think about. It's too bad that we don't have the actual conversation. We just kind of have to assume what OP and her girlfriend were talking about. I will say that the only reason I truly think that this is an overly optimistic take on their first conversation is because of this here. We were on the phone and I was researching and telling her that lilies are poisonous to cats and that even the pollen from them can cause illness and death. I was kind of freaking out about it. Unless OP's girlfriend thought, like the other commenter said, oh well, I can still give her flowers, but not with the cats around, then it'd be pretty obvious that she doesn't want the flowers. But that wouldn't really make sense. Because if she knew that OP didn't want the lilies in the house because it's poisonous to the cats, why would she then proceed to bring them inside the house? That's what I don't get, and it's also what makes it a little bit more malicious to me. Even assuming that OP's girlfriend thought that OP still wanted those flowers, but not around the cats. Regardless, the last conversation that they had was extremely disrespectful, and I don't know how I'd feel being in a relationship with someone who just disregards my feelings like that. Anyway, we're done with that story, and moving on to the next. This is on the Best of Redditor Update subreddit, posted by Choice Evidence 1983. Am I wrong for singling out one wedding guest to not have a +1? The original OP is Willing Ride 6573 and was originally posted to the Am I Wrong subreddit. There is a warning for physical violence, body injuries, racism, and emotional abuse. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please skip to the next story. Original post, March 4th, 2026. So I'm a bride-to-be, 24F, with my partner, 26M, trying to define our guest list. We're going through who is on the chopping block, and we have started with problem guests. How we have defined a problem guest. They may cause drama, start a fight, or we may need to call the police. We have taken out some of our own people from the friends and family group that would arguably make the day way more stressful. Around 6 people. Now, most people are getting a +1, but +1s must be an established partner, no situationship or first dates. Now, one of my best friends, 25M, is in an abusive relationship. She has beaten him, she has brought him to a sundown town where he got chased just cause there's a bar I want to check out. He has abandoned so many of his hobbies for this woman. I absolutely despise this woman. I refuse to meet her. We have staged multiple interventions over the years where the cops were called because she was getting violent. He always justifies it by saying it's because of law school stress, which I do not buy. At this point, I can't break up with her for him. The friend group stays there for him, but he keeps going back. We sent out the RSVPs and we did not give him the option of a +1 because I do not want her at my wedding, but I do want him there. He has been with me through so many life events. He asked around and found out that he's the only one without the option to bring a +1. I explained my reasoning that only established significant others are allowed, and as he already knows, I hate her. He wants me to give her a chance. Firstly, no. Secondly, even less so at my wedding. He says I'm singling him out for not letting him celebrate my day of love while he's singled out for not having his love. My partner is on my side. Most of the wedding party is on my side. But there are 4 people saying we should have let him fill in her name so he has the option and then refuse since we can veto him. By removing his ability, we took away his agency like his girlfriend is doing. Am I going crazy? Am I in the wrong? If you have questions, I'll answer in the comments because the post is already long and I'm sleep deprived. No, OP, you're not in the wrong. He definitely would have put her on there, and if you had turned her away, she would have been mad at you either way. You don't owe her a second chance, especially considering the amount of crap you've already had to put up with. I mean, a sundown town? Are you kidding me? Also, for those of you who don't know what that is, I implore you to look it up. It's horrible, but it's better to be informed than to not be. Anyway, you can be there for your friend, but that doesn't mean you have to roll over and make your special day hell. There doesn't seem like there's a win-win option here. Someone's gonna be upset, and you deserve to be happy on your guys' day. Is there no one else you can invite? Like maybe his friends or family so you won't be alone? You said that he's one of your best friends, but you're gonna be busy on your wedding day, understandably. And assuming he wants his girlfriend there so he doesn't feel alone, maybe that could help? I don't know. Either way, no, you are not wrong. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. You're not wrong for not wanting her there, but I suggest that he gets a +1 option that you specify can't be her. No need to beat around the bush, just tell him that you don't want her there because of what she's done to him. Then it's up to him if he wants to skip your wedding because of it. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. OP says he doesn't even want to bring her. He's upset that I didn't put the +1 option there so I could take the fall for not inviting her. What he wanted was 1. He sends back the invitation with her on it. 2. I say no. 3. He's not the bad guy and doesn't get into a fight because he did his best. But I don't want to dance around my hatred for her. I don't understand why him and the 4 people, mom, 1 bridesmaid, and 2 groomsmen, think this is a good idea. How do I win? I don't think that's the best word, but essentially? Huh. So he doesn't want to bring a +1, let alone her. He just wants you to take the fall so he doesn't get into a fight. It's understandable that he doesn't want to get into a fight considering her past behavior, but that doesn't mean that he can just throw you under the bus. I understand that he's afraid, but I feel like your original option makes you take the blame either way, so I'm not really understanding how this plan is that different to the other one, because either way, you're saying no. Downvoted commenter. Yeah, no thanks to this wedding. High control much? Don't invite whoever you don't want to, but if a friend of mine tried to control me like this, I'd already have been out the door. No invite necessary, period. I'm sorry, I understand why they got downvoted. That's stupid. OP. He had landed in the hospital with a broken rib because of her. He has helped me through so many milestones, but I don't want to manage a freak show. I get that I may be a bridezilla on being picky for who attends and who doesn't, but how is this me controlling his life? You're not controlling his life. You are controlling what goes on in your wedding. There are already 6 people that you did not invite coming out of your own group of friends and family because the day would make it more stressful. You are not singling him out, you're okay. Commenter 2. Report her abuse to her law school. Mandatory reporting, and they can require her to do therapy. A criminal record equals no law license. OP replies, we've tried that. Unfortunately, he has defended her actions so much that they now believe that we are lying about this. There's an investigation, though it's been about a year and no news. OP giving an example on bringing someone to the wedding as a first date. OP says, we've had issues in the past where at one of my bridesmaids' wedding, a friend brought a first date. She proceeded to harass the catering for a second plate, got wasted, and ruined the live painting. So the entire friend group has had the rule since. Yeah, I understand why you wouldn't want someone as a first date attending your wedding, especially after that. That had to be a disaster. Commenter 3. Please don't isolate him because of her. If you don't invite her, she has more motivation to isolate him from you. I told you your friends don't care. I'm the only one who cares. Type crap. OP replies, he is invited, he just wanted me to play games and be the bad guy in refusing her attendance. Commenter 4. Please don't confirm this is a black man with a white woman in reference to the abuse in the sundown town. If so, this is so far from being about right and wrong, which you're not wrong, it's your wedding, and more about the need for therapy, professional help, self-esteem, and black history. OP. It is, unfortunately. He thinks he's not far enough gone for therapy. We've tried so much. We're at a point where we're just waiting for the water to spill out of the base. And commenter 5. If he is your best friend, is there any family of his that you're close to and could come with him? OP. He would have been a part of the wedding party if not for him specifying not to put that stress on him. All of his main friends will be there, like people we go to the bar with bi-monthly. Update, March 11th, 2026, 1 week later. So, after multiple DMs, we have come to a middle ground, kind of. She threw him out of their apartment for considering attending an event without her. He's crashing on either his sister's or cousin's couch. He's in the middle of a crisis because his normal is gone. I, personally, am hoping she actually leaves him alone this time, not the first time he's been kicked out. But it seems different since other wedding guests heard of the altercation and gave him crap for forcing us to play her games. He won't be at the ceremony, just due to the nature of the event, but will be at the reception to hang out with people. She is still banned. She is also blowing up my phone on how I brainwashed her partner. Okay? She did send a couple of threats and we called the police on her. We're sending this to the concerned authorities, given her trying to become a lawyer, and making sure she can't practice. Fingers crossed, everything else goes well. We are going to be there for my friend while he picks himself up. He's finally clicking that she will make him miss important milestones and he doesn't want this anymore. I didn't share this in the last post, but he means so much to me because he helped me through an abusive relationship. Incomparable to what he's going through, but I was also heavily abused. He did it for me. I wanted to do it for him. Thank you to everyone who commented. And we did rectify the English versions of the RSVP to be more close to the French ones. We removed ambiguous language suggesting a random person to their significant other. If anything else crazy happens, I will update again. Knock on wood, nothing will prompt me to do so. OP, I'm so glad that your wedding is going to go the way that you wanted it to, and that your friend is coming to his senses. Being in an abusive relationship is something that no one should have to go through. And for men, it's even more difficult to admit that you were being abused, to yourself or to others, even if everyone can see it. I'm so happy that you and your friend group were patient with him and were there for him in the end. I hope he stays away from her and vice versa. Hopefully she does not get her license and that the authorities take this seriously. I hope that your wedding goes wonderfully and that you have a great time. That's it for this story, and moving on to the next. This is from the Am I Overreacting subreddit by Flimsy Dream 9749. And a little warning, this has mentions of abortion and abuse, so if that makes you uncomfortable, please skip to the next story. Am I overreacting? I, 28M, recently engaged but found out my ex, 25F, has been hiding my child. I am 28 years old and I have been dating my fiance, 30F, for 3 years. We recently got engaged last month on our 3-year anniversary. Yesterday, I saw on our ring cam that a woman dropped off a letter in our mailbox. Mail doesn't run on Sundays, so I thought that this was weird. When I checked the mailbox, I found a letter addressed to me with no stamp. When I opened it, it was a handwritten letter with no name, only a phone number. There was a short message written to the effect of, "Hello, I apologize for sending you this letter. I feel horrible about withholding this information, but I think you may be the father of a 2.5-year-old boy. If you would like to know more info, please text this number. I would prefer to keep this private. Thanks." This has sent me into a spiral. Right before I started dating my fiance, I dated a girl for about 4 or 5 months. During that time, she got pregnant and I pushed for her to have an abortion. I can admit that I treated her like crap, but she turned out to be bat crap crazy. after the abortion, it seemed like she started to lose her mind. She started to drive past my house and repeatedly call me. She even reached out to my fiance, girlfriend at the time, and claimed that I was abusive. She also told my mom that I forced her to get an abortion. Eventually, I had to send her a message stating that I don't want any more contact with her, and if she continues to contact me, that I would get a protective order against her. After that, I didn't hear from her again. I'm assuming this letter is from her or maybe a friend of hers. I'm unsure based on how the letter is worded. The woman who dropped off the letter was not her. The number on the letter does not match up with the number that I had for her years ago. I'm unsure if I should text the number or not. I have not told my fiance about this. I'm completely freaking out. I'm pretty sure she was bleeding from the abortion and we took a pregnancy test afterwards, which came back negative. For all I know, she could have been lying about it. I don't know. The dates all match up for it to be my child. I haven't told my fiance, but I am definitely freaking out. Oh boy. Firstly, in regards to the original question, am I overreacting to finding out that I have a secret child with my ex? No. You haven't really done anything from what you said aside from internally freaking out and posting about it. In fact, I'd say you're underreacting. Being shocked is fine. But after that, you didn't talk about this with your fiance. You didn't text the number. You just looked at the note and went, huh. That's not the same number that my ex, that I only dated for 4 to 5 months, had 3 years ago. Aside from the fact that you somehow remember her number, considering if she were actually crazy, you most likely would have blocked and deleted it. How are you not curious at all about your supposed kid? I know this isn't the Am I the A-hole sub, but I'm surprised that this hasn't been reposted to the Am I the Devil sub at this point. I knew we were in for a wild ride whenever I saw the post was locked. Top comments. By Hefty Acanthacida 661. Info. It seems like you're afraid to tell your fiance because you know more than you're telling here. And you're afraid that she'll find out that you are not what she thinks you are. A few things in his post don't quite line up, but I don't really think OP is a very reliable narrator. A comment by Little Hermano says, "You don't sound like a very nice person. You say she started acting crazy after the abortion. Your wording is a literal admission that you forced that abortion and then dumped her, leaving her broken. You admit so matter-of-factly that you treated her like crap. You are a pathetic little person, and I find your lack of emotion disgusting." And another commenter called Idol Igloo says, "So you didn't sleep with anyone else between your ex and your current girlfriend?" I think they meant current fiance. Not overreacting, but you haven't even looked up your crazy ex on social media to see if she has a child? Sounds like she was really, really hurt by you and nothing you said sounded that crazy. If this is actually her, then I think you're spinning the crazy tale to hide something worse. Because if she was actually crazy, then she would have gone after child support long ago. If she is hiding your child, it's because you were more than just mean to her. I think you're freaking out due to guilt over what you did to your ex. Contact the number, maybe it's just a scammer. Going after child support in and of itself isn't crazy behavior. But if she were actually crazy, she would have taken any and every opportunity to get into contact with you. Anyway, all of the rest of the comments are just shredding this man to pieces, which is understandable. That's all for this story, and on to the next one. AITA for refusing to recommend a classmate for a job. I, 24F, am getting my certifications and degree to be a special education teacher from a local college. I have worked as a paraprofessional at a small therapeutic day school for the past 3 years. Recently, one of my classmates asked me if I could recommend him for a job where I work. For context, the classmate 23M and I have been in 6 classes together over the years. He is late to every class, usually by at least 20 to 30 minutes. He has shared with me before that he has failed multiple classes, and when we've been in group projects together, I always do all of his work for him. I've also seen him lose his temper with our classmates before, the majority of whom are 19 to 20. The school I work at includes a transition program, so some of the students are in that same age range. I've also seen him go out of his way to be kind to people, and he's usually very thankful after I do his parts of his projects for him. He seemed like a nice guy overall. However, I told him I wasn't comfortable recommending him. I didn't go into detail, but he was clearly upset. As he got up, it moved to a seat across the room when I told him no. That was about 2 weeks ago. This past Friday, one of his friends came up to me and asked me why I would interfere with his ability to support himself. I told him that I would never interfere with him being hired if he were to interview at the school I worked at, but I wasn't going to recommend someone if I didn't feel confident that they would do a good job, as that would reflect poorly on me in the end. His friend told me that he didn't realize I was so selfish. I told him I was done with the conversation, and he walked away. I realized I was probably overly blunt, but I didn't realize it would be a whole thing. I feel strongly that we are all too old to be engaging in schoolyard drama, but when I told my friends about it, they said that I was mean and that basically I created the drama. Am I the a-hole? OP, it's ridiculous to say that you're the a-hole. I mean, honestly, all you said is that you don't feel comfortable recommending him. You weren't rude, and you didn't even say the reasons why. He acted like a toddler, sitting all the way on the opposite side of the room after you already sat down. Seriously? And then twisting what happened to your friends, probably because you're embarrassed, is just childish. He should have taken the no with grace instead of stirring up drama. This didn't need to be a whole thing. Also, OP, you're right that it's too old to be acting like this, but there are even 80-year-olds who do the same things. Some people just refuse to grow up, unfortunately. I mean, that's why we hear about Karens, you know? Some comments by user Glittering Ear 2315. All I'm gonna say is that I suggested a person I worked with for a job. She turned on me and lied on her application. She said that she had a credential that she didn't have. I have learned to keep my mouth shut. Let them compete for themselves. Yeah, if you had recommended him the job, it would have reflected on your character with the way that he had been acting. You say he's late, you say that he has failed multiple classes, which means he doesn't know the material that well, and every time that you've been in a group project together, you've done all of his work. Not to mention that he has lost his temper with classmates who are around the same age as some of the students that you work with. No, just no. I don't blame you. Another comment by Excellent Willow 981 says, the school you work at may question your judgment if you recommend someone who isn't up to the job. He's late and slacks. These aren't valuable traits in an employee. Yes, you may have been blunt, but if you weren't clear enough, then he could have thought that you were on the fence and possible to persuade. NTA. Yeah, if you didn't give him a clear no, he may have just pestered you until you finally gave in and said yes. Or if he didn't get the job, even after your recommendation, he probably would have blamed you, especially if he is as childish as you portray him to be. Last comment by Miyagok20 says, his reaction should tell you all you need to know. NTA. He's also not kind or grateful. He's manipulative. If I don't kiss her butt, she won't do my work again for the next time. Or, more likely, if I kiss her butt about her doing my work, she'll continue to do me favors, like recommending me for this job. Keep moving up in the professional world and leave the schoolyard dramatics behind. Next time he bothers you, tell the grown man that it's bordering on harassment and you will escalate the scenario if need be. Hopefully he won't bother you after this. Maybe at most he'll just be uncooperative in future group projects, but if you can talk to your professor and have this sorted out between you guys, if you guys do get into a group project together, that would be for the best. But I hope you guys don't have to interact too much. But anyway, like this commenter said, he is a grown man and you don't owe him a job recommendation. You don't owe him anything. He is just your classmate. He is not your friend, and even if he were a friend, again, you would not owe him anything. Alright, that's it for this story. Moving on to the next. This is from the Am I the A-hole subreddit by extension net 6101. Would I be the a-hole for wanting to move out? I, 24F, am in a bit of a dilemma and wondering what to do. I told my parents, 50M and 46F, that my sister, 19F, my boyfriend, 25M, and I wanted to move out once the lease is up at the rental place we're currently staying at. My partner lives with his family, but they are moving out in the summer almost an hour away from where we live, so his commute would be almost 2 hours to work. My commute could also be over an hour with traffic at where we currently stay, so we talked about moving in together close to work. I brought this up to my parents, and this is where the problem begins. So, my parents need me a lot. I cover a lot financially and emotionally. If they need to go to the mall, buy groceries, etc., I usually have to go with them because they need to use SIP/Affirm, and I'm the only one with a good amount on those cards. I take care of a 4-year-old sister whenever they need or ask. I pay rent there and other bills that they need help with to cover, but also spot my parents' money whenever they ask or need, and usually my mom never pays me back, only sometimes saying to take it off the rent that I owe. They told me that they can't afford to move and won't move due to how much stuff they have and how we have only been at this rental house for a year. A lot happened late 2024 to the point where we had no choice but to move from our old place, and I was still a college student living at home. I didn't make much then, but I still paid and covered whenever I could. I just couldn't afford to move out as I had no one to do it with, and kinda always wanted to stay at home. But I met my boyfriend, graduated college, we both have good jobs, and my sister is able to contribute. I told my mom this months ago, and she made comments then, but last week or 2 weeks ago, we got the lease renewal agreement and rent is going up by $400. And the lease is up in 2 months, so I thought it was a good time to bring it up again. They said they feel blindsided as it's too soon. They don't know what to do. That while we are adults, I screwed them over. They feel I chose my boyfriend over them. And when I told them I felt like they relied on me too much, they said I called them a burden. So now I'm conflicted on what to do about moving out or just staying another year, in spite of the plans my sister, boyfriend, and I want to do. Would I be the a-hole? No. OP, you are an adult and can move out of your parents' house. They can't get you into legal trouble for just moving out or anything. It seems like they keep manipulating you in order for you to stay. I mean, really? Twisting your words and trying to make you out to be the bad guy? You should be able to live your own life, not taking care of a kid that isn't yours and funding your parents' life, which is really nice of you, don't get me wrong, but they're taking advantage of you at this point. You also didn't spring the move on them. You already talked to your mom about it and she just didn't listen or didn't actually believe that you'd go through with it. I hope that you move away from them and start living for yourself. Update/edit. Thank you all for the incredible insight and words. I sat down with my boyfriend to discuss this too, and while I'm still fighting the decision to stay or leave, I ultimately still want to and am planning to go. I'm going to try and see what I can do to ease the moving pains if needed, but like you all said, what I have is my own adult life to live, and they need to figure it out like adults too. Unfortunately, my grandma got involved, she lives in another state, and is weighing her opinion on how I'm supposed to be helping my mom, that my behavior isn't like me, and that I've turned into someone they don't recognize by saying how I felt these past few years. But I'm handling that as well. Again, OP, I really hope you stick to your decision to move, and even if your parents don't like it, I hope that they'll get themselves together and just come to their senses. Top comments. User, where were the adults? Says. That name is pretty fitting. Anyway, they say, move. You have 2 adults who have decided to make their grown child responsible for them. That is so freaking selfish and toxic that I can't even. They are now manipulating you into staying so they can continue to use you however they see fit. You deserve to start your life instead of living for them. Move. NTA. OP responds, wow, it never really crossed my mind about how toxic this really was. My parents have always made it a point that we help out family and put the needs of family before our own, so that's what I've always done. It's always family helps family until the one person constantly giving needs help, isn't it? I agree that you should help out if you have the means to and if you want to, but if not, truly you don't owe anyone anything. You are not the one who asked to be born. You were just put here by two adults who decided to make the decision to have a child and keep it. And you are out here trying to live your life as best as you can. It's so sad that they seem to value what you can give them more than your actual relationship with them. Another comment by Revolution OK 2240 says, when will you be able to have an adult life? Why are they expecting you to prop them up financially, and why are you mothering your 4-year-old sister? Do they have early onset dementia? Do they have intellectual disabilities? Don't let them pull the family helps family card, because in reality, it's their job to raise their children, to be independent and responsible for their own lives, not burden you with a guilty conscience. OP responds, exactly how I was feeling. The guilt is eating me alive, and that's why I feel like the a-hole, because I feel like maybe I should have talked about it more with them. So they got I was serious, but at the same time, I feel like that shouldn't matter. Parents' duty is to nurture them, and to take care of them, not to treat them like some piggy bank or full-time nanny, and especially not to prevent your kid from just doing better in life. You should want them to do better in life, and it doesn't seem like that's the case. If you are going to choose to have that kid, you need to be responsible for that kid, or send it to someone who will be responsible for your kid. In the final comment by Sarcastic Pendant, you would not be the a-hole. Your parents are being manipulative and are taking advantage of you financially and physically. Their lease is up, so they can move if they want to, but you did warn them months ago, and you have raised it again with 2 months to go. At some point, you need to start saving for your future and living your life. They have a 4-year-old to look after, and that isn't your job. Tell them you will help them move if they choose to, but you need to live closer to work for your own well-being. If you wait a year, you will be leaving your boyfriend in the lurch too. OP responds, that's one of my biggest concerns, which was about leaving my boyfriend in a predicament. He's been planning this move for a while, since he always knew he wasn't going to move with his family. He understood the situation with my family and was supportive of whichever decision I made, and was going to figure out what to do if I chose not to go, and that's what he was going to do last year. However, this is our 2nd year together, and we are starting to plan for a more serious future, and felt like this would be a good time to start. I just feel guilty, like I didn't communicate this better to them, like I should have brought it up more. I don't think that they believed I would actually ever move. I don't think so either. It just seems like they expected you to be a doormat. I mean, rent was going up by $400 and they weren't gonna move? Were they expecting you to foot the $400? Because if so, that's a lot of audacity. Anyway, with you thinking about getting serious with your boyfriend, I think it's a good time to set boundaries. If they decide that that is a breaking point for them, then it's their loss. It's not wrong for just wanting to live your life. I hope you do well, OP. And those are all the stories I have for you today. If you guys want to see more of me, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!